It's officially talking season. From the FSU quarterback taking shots at Alabama, Steve Spurrier taking digs at Texas. It's time to get the squad together.
You're talking ball with the SEC squad, sponsored by Game Time. From Alabama to Tennessee, from Georgia to Oklahoma, from Auburn to Texas, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming SEC weekend. It's the SEC squad, and we have a seat for you. Hurt feelings and thin skin are prohibited. Squad up, you're part of the SEC squad.
And what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the SEC squad. Sit back, grab your favorite beverage, and join us as we get you 1 week closer to the start of another college football season, another season in the SEC. Today's episode brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use our code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com. Get 50% off your first year. Let's welcome in our panel. We got Brandon Olson of Locked On Gators. We got Zach Blackerby, Locked On Auburn. Stephen Willis, host of Locked On Ole Miss. John Miller, Locked On Mizzou. Jimmy Stein, Locked On Bama. Chris Marler, Locked On Gamecocks. And Corey Burton, Locked On Vandy. I'm Chris Gordy, host of Locked On SEC. And gentlemen, we got a full house here. You'd think the regular season was starting. How's everybody doing?
We're hyped. That's why we're all here. Obviously, I don't care if it's June. We're ready for football.
I'm here for the ad read.
Steve Spurrier spoke. We're here.
For the ad read.
Well, speaking of getting hyped for the season, we are officially in the talking season, gents. This late June, it either means somebody's taking shots at another school or it means Georgia had another player arrested for speeding, and that hasn't happened yet. So
not yet.
Knock on wood.
The day is young.
Yeah,
it's coming. But how about Florida State quarterback, new Florida State quarterback, Thomas Castellanos, coming over from Boston College to FSU, hasn't even taken a snap yet for the Seminoles, and doing a sit-down interview with Pete Nakos of On 3, asked about the Bama game week 1. They're hosting Alabama, and he says, I'm excited. People, I don't know if they know, but you go back and watch every first game that I played in. We always start fast. I dreamed of moments like this. I dreamed of playing against Alabama. They don't have Nick Saban to save them. I just don't see them stopping me. Thoughts on the shots fired?
Jimmy, this is an ant farm for Alabama.
Yeah.
So get
It
your
would make
camera ready and let's get it.
It would make more sense if that quote came from a Diego Pavia or a Jackson Arnold or even a Nico. But Thomas Castellanos, it's just the strangest play.
Jimmy? Nico who?
Stopped. I'm still shook. I'm still shook from the quote. So Iamalava.
Yeah,
Iamalava, that's how I said.
He kind of has to look up to Kyler Murray, doesn't he?
It's just a strange quote from that guy off Florida, not just Florida State's. I mean, Florida State's off a 2-10 season. This guy's off losing his job as the starter and quitting. It's just kind of a strange place for that quote. But that said, Alabama lost, 3 games last year to basically 500 football teams. They have to do their talking on the field this fall.
I know, but you must be this tall to talk trash. Is all I'm saying. That's embarrassing.
Well, early season, huge upset last season, at least perceived. Castellanos goes down to Florida State, beats them in Tallahassee. Now he's going back there. What would that be like, the App State kicker transferring to Michigan in 2008 or something? What a weird situation. But, yeah, as somebody who played against Thomas Castellanos last year, Missouri played BC at home last year, I think he's an okay player. He's okay. He's not horrible. He's not great. He's fine. That's what I think about him.
I will also say the fact that like him saying like how unstoppable he was last year, brother, you're talking to your own team, man. That's who couldn't stop you. It was your own team that you're currently surrounded by. So I don't know why all of a sudden we're gonna like. I think that the idea that say that Nick Saban can't save him now. I'm not sure if you watch tape of Nick Saban versus dual threat quarterbacks at times when he was there. Not always great, but I think this is one of the situations where it's like if you're coming off a 2-10 season, especially, just don't say anything. Go on the field and then shock the world. And unless you just want to, like, I don't know, you're just bored, I guess, since it's June.
I'm going with the latter there. He was bored because it's June and somebody stuck a microphone in his face. Yeah. He said, "Hey, we're gonna beat Alabama. They're gonna be in trouble. Nick Saban's not gonna be there to save them." And it's going to be a disaster for Florida State, I think.
But like the quote kept piling on. That makes me think he went into this interview saying, "I'm going to talk my smack."
Right.
Alabama. It wasn't just like a comment where we could almost say like, was he just talking and he said something a little too aggressive?
He went on and on. He went on and on about BC, his situation at BC, sort of attacking Bill O'Brien a little bit.
Good.
You know, Bill O'Brien used to at Alabama. Bill O'Brien would cuss out Bryce Young on the practice field, who's the most gentlemanly quarterback in history. I can imagine what those practice sessions must have been like when Castellanos was there with Bill O'Brien. That must have been some crazy WWE stuff going on that field because Bill O'Brien's very difficult to play for. When the quarterback's clapping back, it's going to be a mess.
Interesting question. Does Bill O'Brien hate short quarterbacks?
I know Bill O'Brien hates running the football on second down.
There you go.
Hey, it's Bill Bryan. There is no O.
Yeah.
Well, Castellanos 2 years ago was a dynamic runner. He had 1,000 yards rushing, 13 rushing touchdowns 2 years ago. He kind of lost that a little bit last year before he got hurt after 8 games. But I bring this up because Bama has historically struggled with some running quarterbacks at times. Think Johnny Manziel. Think, guys that were mobile. Now, of course, Kane Womack is the defense coordinator now. It's not, Saban's gone, but you look at the quarterbacks last year, Byron Brown had some running success against them. Peyton Thorne had 40 rushing yards. Nico had 44 rushing yards. And, of course, Jackson Arnold had the most success, 131 rushing yards. So I just bring that up to say, does Bama just load the box and say, we're not letting Castellanos get loose on us?
I don't care who the quarterback is. I'm loading the box if I got Gus Malzahn calling plays on the other side of the ball. I'm going to make you do it.
And Castellanos being an okay quarterback is not going to cut it against Alabama. He's just okay. He's just solid. It's not going to cut it against Alabama.
Well, also, the thing about the strength of this Alabama team coming in is like the secondary is going to be really, really good for Alabama this year. It was good last year, too. I mean, I think they were second in the SEC in interceptions, and they were really, really good. They just didn't have a lot of depth. Like, they were just injured a lot. You're going into the season fully healthy. It's not a team that's going to like get to the quarterback a ton and get a lot of sacks. It's not really what they do in Womack's defense. So, I mean, yes, sack the box until like he can prove to you that he can throw the football, then you're fine.
He's such a bad passer. Even in the College Football 26 trailer, he's throwing picks. That's how awesome.
They have a radically.
It doesn't matter. D-line to just put their hands up and it's
They have a radically new offense too. I think 5 transfers on the offensive line coming in. 2 new receivers and Squirrel White from Tennessee and Deuce Robinson from USC. The new OC. I think one difficulty Alabama's going to have in the preparation is just what are you watching?
Right.
What are you watching from last year? Watching Florida State's offense last year, that's a waste of time. I guess you watch a little bit of what Gus was doing at Central Florida. You watch a little bit of the last 2 years as when Thomas is a starting quarterback at BC. But it is going to be a difficult preparation for Alabama because you're not exactly sure what you're going to see.
Yeah. Where would he rank among quarterbacks in the SEC, guys?
Height-wise,
very low.
Bottom.
Yeah.
Somewhere around Blake Shapen.
Well, getting into our ad read, probably a power bottom.
Well, just to throw one other nugget in here, I don't know if you guys saw, Lenore Sellers was on, I believe, CBS Sports Radio earlier this week, and he was asked about it. And Lenore Sellers of South Carolina said, quote, shoot, Alabama is still Alabama to me. They were good last year. They're a good team. They're big, strong, and fast. That's how you answer the question.
That's what you should say.
Yeah,
Thomas Castellanos.
At some point, the rest of the country is going to catch on and realize that Lenore Sellers is everything that you want a quarterback on the field and off the field. Because the kid, like, he just doesn't do anything off the field that puts you into any sort of jeopardy, makes you feel like concerned about like his like attitude, behavior, anything like that. The $8 million thing we talked about a couple weeks ago or last week, him turning that down. I have no doubt in my mind that somebody offered him that. If the kid from Tulane got $4 million a year, I have no doubt in my mind that Lenore Sellers got it. Just continues to do everything the right way going into the season.
His nickname is No-No. Is that right? The other kids on the team call him No-No.
Lenore Sellers?
Yeah. Have you heard
I
this?
call him yes. But yes.
Okay. I think No-No is a cool nickname. I think some of the guys on Carolina call him that.
After Hideo No from the Dodgers, right? Deep cut.
Timely.
All right, gents, when we return, the old ball coach, he's still spouting off at the mouth. You thought he'd simmered down over the years, but we'll get to that. Coming up next, we'll talk Steve Spurrier taking shots at Texas. That's coming your way next here on the SEC Squad Show. Hey, but first, I want to remind you guys, this episode presented to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. And if you ever wish your money felt easier with Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. I can't afford John Miller, but I can afford Monarch Money to keep track of all of my money. And it's not just a budgeting app. It is a complete financial command center. Track all your accounts, all your investments, all your spending in one place. Chris Marler, please take notes. It will help you budget better. And, you know, what's your financial goal that you're trying to reach for this year? Monarch Money is going to take care of your finances for you. Go take control of all your spending with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com. You'll get 50% off your first year. If you got a million kids like Zach, you need to save every dime you can. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Check them out, monarchmoney.com. All right, gents, we jump back into it. Chris Marler, question from the class.
First off, I already know where all my money's going, so that was rude. It's going
to his wedding.
It's going directly to the person upstairs who's not listening to this podcast.
Well, if you need a deal on a ring, I got a guy.
Didn't you tell me that before I bought the ring, idiot? What?
Wait, Gordy, you have a ring guy?
Oh yeah, I got a ring guy.
Not ring doorbell.
Gordy's got a everything guy. You know, just whatever you need, he's got a guy.
You should tell me that. I'm about to go get it next week, so I really appreciate that, Gordy. It's perfect timing.
Yeah, I get you guys a ring tonight. Hey, speaking of rings, Steve Spurrier, he is spouting off at the mouth, making an appearance on another duly noted podcast, Pat Dooley, this week, wide-ranging interview, and he was asked his thoughts on Arch Manning. Of course, he coached against Peyton Manning, made the famous, you can't spell UT without, citrus without UT, of course, taking a shot at Tennessee and Peyton Manning and those guys. So Peyton's nephew is at Texas, and here's what Steve Spurrier said. He said, quote, people picking Texas to win the SEC in football. They got Arch Manning already winning the Heisman. And my question is, if he was this good, how come they let Quinn Ewers play all the time last year? I had to kind of read that in the Spurrier cadence because you have to hear it. But
It's pretty good.
All right.
does he make a good? Is it justified? I mean, is Arch Manning in Texas? Are they getting too much hype, or do you believe it's justified?
I think he's getting too much hype.
Steve, you want to take this one?
If his name was Arch Davis, nobody would be talking about that. I mean, they've recruited pretty well, but they are replacing their whole offensive line, both of their wide receivers. Their running backs coming off an injury, and they have a brand new quarterback that they tried to put in against Georgia and had to take him out because he was ineffective. And now that guy's going to win the that guy's going to win the Heisman. No, I don't see it.
I'm with Steven. Like I do think it's weird that he's been there for 2 years, and we're just already like crowning him as like the next great thing. And he should do great. Like most quarterbacks. I mean, Mac Jones was fantastic in Steve Sarkisian's offense, but they do lose a ton. Most of the stuff they have returning that's going to make this team a good team is on the other side of the ball. It's on defense. I mean, like the secondary is going to be elite. The linebackers going to be elite. I'm sure they'll be good in the trenches, but I mean, like on the defense side of the ball, yeah, I'm kind of sorry. I will say that the one clapback I saw to this that made a lot of sense was, I don't know why did Chris Leak play ahead of Tim Tebow for so long in 2006? But here's the thing: Arch has been there for 2 years, and it's not like Quinn Ewers was like some all the time elite quarterback that was like I think lighting the world on fire throughout both those seasons.
But you see him at that St. Louis cookout, though, Chris. Come on now. I mean, that's all that really matters is the street cred, obviously. But seriously, I agree with Steven. What if his name was Arch Pribula, for example, taking Missouri quarterback? No, seriously. Like Pribula, everybody's like, well, he doesn't have that much experience. He has some talent. I mean, you could say the same thing about Arch Manning, who obviously was another level of a high school recruit, but we're talking about high school, not to sound like Allen Iverson here, but we're talking about high school. It seems like that is mostly what we're relying on. If I had to bet, I think Arch Manning will be a really good quarterback. I just don't think the peak is going to come this season, and that just seems like the assumption that maybe too many people are making.
Did you just make that graphic while we were sitting here?
That's some elite level.
So fast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I'm not like Marler with the Canva, but I do
It
well.
takes me it takes me hours. That looks great, dude. You're so much better at this than I am.
It takes Marler a long time. No question.
Not with our new sponsor.
Not with. Yeah.
I'll go the other way on this. I'm an arch truther. I think he's going to be awesome. Who's going to be his
Gordy? I don't see it, man.
Who's going to be his number one target? Ryan Wingo. They both came in together. He's been throwing the ball to him, on the freshman team and moving on up the depth chart. People keep saying he's going to make his first start, or somebody said the other day, I heard that he's going to make his first start at Ohio State. No, he has started 2 games against Louisiana Monroe and against Mississippi State last year, and he was good in both of them.
Wow.
Powerhouses over there.
He could only play. He was next on the schedule, right? But I just his athleticism, his running ability. We saw it against UTSA. What was it, like a 70-yard run? I think Arch is going to be good. Like Sark's track record has been pretty good.
But Gordy, I think Arch being good means he doesn't hit expectations.
Yeah.
He's being talked about as if it's almost like, every now and then we see these in sports like LeBron or like Bryce Harper. I mean, there's always these guys that come along that unfairly in most cases, but they're met with these lofty expectations. And I don't think just good will be good enough for some of the people.
What do you think? What numbers wise, what does he have to hit for you to be? Because I think if they go 11-1 with that schedule, which is very doable, or even 10-2, and then win the SEC championship, because I think so much of the Heisman has to do with whatever happens in the last weekend of the season, like fair or not fair. It's exactly why Tua didn't win it in 2018, but we'll get to that some other time. Like the whole thing, though, if he wins the Heisman, what do his numbers have to be for them to to live up to those expectations?
Well, I would
based on his
numbers won't
expectations,
have
it's all
to be
about
as
wins
good.
for Arch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to have to win for sure. But I think you can make the case that Arch Manning could have not as good numbers as other people and still get the nod to be a Heisman favorite.
Yeah, it's kind of what I'm saying.
Even if Arch throws for 4,400 yards, but Texas loses 3 or 4 games. I mean, I think to some extent that's a disappointment. I do think he's going to be adjudged by wins and losses because they have an expectation to win the national championship, and they think Arch is the guy that can get them there. To me, it's about wins and losses. Now, if they win a bunch of games, but, Arch has thrown as many interceptions as touchdowns, that's different. But I don't think that's going to happen. I'm with Chris. I think Arch is going to be really good myself.
What if he might be?
He'll be good, but like Zach said, is good enough in this scenario? Like, are people going to be disappointed that he's just
better get the team as far as Quinn did? Quinn got him to back-to-back Final Fours, basically. He's going to have to get them that far, right?
Yeah. He also, the other question I would have with Arch is, if he, how long is he going to be left in games? Because I'm sure they have a lot of talent at quarterback. They recruit well at every single position. Sark's been great. But what Arch doesn't have that Quinn had is Arch on the bench. And so if he gets hurt, what does that look like for their title hopes? I wonder if they should be up in games very big for most of the second half, because that schedule is still very, very easy. I wonder what that looks like in the second half.
Also, real quick, when he was in high school and played a good team in high school football, he had about 115 yards passing. He did not play in the Army All-American game. He did not play in the Under Armour All-American game, and he did not go to Elite 11. That explains a little bit of the unknown going into the season and a lot going on to his last name.
Yeah, I think there are 2 things also with first off, I blame the recruiting services for straight up lying and saying that he was the best player in the country or the best quarterback or the best anything.
Manning gets clicks.
Yeah, it's the Manning name, but also for what Marler said about, and it is a comment that I've seen quite a bit about it with Tim Tebow. Just want to throw it out there of, why didn't Tim Tebow play more? Tim Tebow led the Florida Gators in rushing touchdowns as a true freshman on their way to winning the national championship. He wasn't only playing very sparingly in his second season. Tim Tebow was leading the team in rushing touchdowns as a true freshman. It's really not the same as Chris Leak.
Well, Leak was like a 3-year starter too, right?
I understand that it's he's obviously better, but not the same.
Wasn't Leak a 3-year starter?
Leak was well established, leading passer.
And with Arch's running ability, some Texas fans were clamoring for that. Why not put some running packages in there for him? We saw it a few times, but obviously he's way more athletic than his uncles were. I will say too, that opener at Ohio State, I mean, it's such a big game, but the 3 weeks after that, they get 3 straight home games against San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston. I almost feel like the game plan against Ohio State should be run the ball, play defense, and like don't put any pressure on Arch and let him build up that confidence in those next 3 home games.
I think the name that people are going to be saying after they leave Columbus is not about Arch. It's going to be about Julian Sayin, the quarterback at Ohio State.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, there we go.
It's ridiculous to look around the country and see all the quote blue bloods that are having new quarterbacks this season.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be
Thank
fun.
you for calling Missouri a blue blood. I really appreciate it.
Blue blood Ole Miss, really working in that new QB.
Yeah.
Blue blood Auburn got the new quarterback.
Jackson Arnold time, baby.
New blood.
I was thinking Alabama and Georgia and Texas and all of
Oregon.
them. Yeah.
I don't know that Oregon's a
Thank
blue
y'all.
blood, but Oregon's an elite program that's has a new quarterback too, and Dante Moore.
They're a greenback.
honestly,
UCLA.
Oregon's catching
UCLA's got,
strays right now.
What was that?
Wait,
Who does
catching
UCLA's got a new quarterback? What's his name?
Nico's dad's son. Nico's dad's son. Yeah, Madden's brother.
Yeah,
Madden's
I love it.
brother.
That's good.
There you go. There's a
Yeah, I have to remember Amon Mielen. I do not have to remember Iamaliava.
Yeah.
I'm
When-
gonna leave you.
we
That's
just
what I
did.
call him.
No.
When we return here, guys, we are going to run through. EA Sports has listed the toughest places to play in the new NCAA video game. We'll see who from the SEC made the cut. That's coming your way here in just a second.
Vandy, definitely Vandy.
Well, first, guys, you've probably heard of products like Viagra, Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougiet Ready. And I see a lot of balding middle-aged white guys here that are wanting to experiment with this product. Rougiet Ready is a next-gen prescription
Speak for yourself
treatment
on the balding.
designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that can take hours, Rougiet's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average in 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
That would be a record for you. Effects can last up to
15
36
minutes.
hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. If traditional options haven't worked, Rougiet might be the answer. Over 150,000 men have already made the switch. Head to Rougiet.com. That's RUGIET/LockedOnCollege. Use our code LockedOnCollege. Get 15% off today. That's Rougiet, RUGIET.com/LockedOnCollege. Use promo code LockedOnCollege. Get 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rougiet website for full safety information. Thank you guys for being mature during that.
Just wait.
All right, final segment here on the SEC Squad show.
Whoops.
Hopefully you guys took some notes on today's show. But before we wrap up, I saw, the new NCAA video game is coming out, and EA Sports, they have ranked the toughest places to play. So figured we'd take a look at this and see how many teams from the SEC made the list. Coming in at number 1, it's Tiger Stadium at LSU. Coming in at number 4, it's Sanford Stadium at Georgia. Bryant-Denny Stadium, 5, Alabama. Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, Florida, 7. And then outside the top 10, Kyle Field at 11, Neyland Stadium, 12. That feels low. Darrell K. Royal Stadium at Texas, 13. Jordan-Hare, 17 at Auburn. And then rounding out the top 25, Williams-Brice was 16 on this list. And then rounding out the top 25, Davis-Wade at Mississippi State at 25. What do you guys
Did
think?
Toledo put up 41 points in Davis-Wade?
Yeah, it must have been a house of horrors for them.
Yeah. The
was
only team that
brutal.
has trouble playing in Davis-Wade right now is Mississippi State.
I just like that Gordy skipped number 8 on the list. I respect it.
What was number 8? Oh, I didn't. Oklahoma is number 8 on the list.
I hate to
That's
say
a
it, one of
joke.
my best buddies is an NC State guy, but Carter Finley Stadium. Are you serious? Who's ever been afraid to go to Raleigh?
What's up with Camp Randall? Camp Randall, they've one top 25 win at Wisconsin since the COVID season.
It's just about the song. That's just about the song.
Yeah,
I mean, that's literally what that's about.
Wait,
The song.
Michigan
Williams
is not a
Brice
tough
so
place
low.
to play. It's not even that loud. It's just big. It's just a big place. Like Kyle Field, Neyland Stadium, those are way too low. And Doak Campbell, do they even have a stadium intact right now?
Nope.
What are we doing?
Husky Stadium?
That one's pretty tough.
Why is Missouri not there with their rocks? That's what I
Yeah,
want.
thank
I'm
you.
serious.
It's all about the rocks, obviously.
Let's talk about
Zach's
the
here,
rocks for a
Steven's
second.
here.
Let's talk
I mean, finally, we're
what
back
are
to
the
the
rocks,
You know what?
John
I'm
Miller?
back.
You
I'm
figured
back.
that out?
Let's
You
finish
want
the
that one,
entire
Zach?
show talking about the rocks for
Speaking
sure.
of rocks, this episode is brought to you by Rudy.
Yeah, now we're talking. There's the transition.
Oh man,
Honestly, that wasn't a very hard line.
Oh,
Wow.
Hey-o.
Keep them coming.
So just back to the stadium list. Which one do you, if you could change one of these, which one are you changing?
Florida
They
State.
just wait.
But Davis
Corey
Wade
Finley.
25.
I'm getting Carter Finley out of there.
yeah.
I
if
think
it's
Davis
in the
Wade
top
for me.
10. I think that Oklahoma is probably a little bit too like 8 and 10 feel like they should be behind 11 and 12 for sure. I'll just also say this, and Jimmy, I don't want to speak for you, but I mean, like I'll throw this out there. Tiger Stadium, is that a tough place to play for people? I know that the team that Jimmy's covered or Jimmy covers, they've lost there 6 times since the Eisenhower administration. So I didn't know that was that tough of a place for people to play.
Well,
Yeah, Alabama and the LSU's had a lot of success in Bryant Denny, but not as much as Alabama's had success down there in Tiger Stadium. I just think places are tough to play when you show up and there's a really good team there.
Yeah,
I think that affects the outcome more than fans screaming drunk in the stands.
I was just going to bring up Alabama's the one team that owns LSU in Death Valley. It feels like in recent years, Ole Miss can't win there.
Auburn,
A&M still has not won there since they join the SEC. They still winless there. Florida tends to have trouble every time they go to Death Valley. So again, I think it's justified, but you're right. Alabama does own
I'm just
LSU.
picking on you, Gordy. I will also say this too: the Georgia thing is super weird because you can sit here and make the case like, well, they're only good because they're a really good team, and I know I've seen people say that, but like, I mean, they've lost one home game there since 2017, and it's odd to me to sit there and see what happens to Penn State every single time Ohio State or Michigan go there, and then I think they're like 2-7 in whiteout games there in their last 9 whiteout games, So I don't know how that necessarily is ahead of Georgia outside of the gameplay, maybe in the video game, where it's just like you get to see a whiteout and they do the
in the game. It is crazy. Yeah. It is crazy in the game.
And the stadium meters pumping in the
that stadium
lines.
Did the Auburn one drop? Wasn't Auburn like way up there last year?
We were probably a little higher.
Okay.
I think right now with how much how little we've won over the last 4 years, I think 17's fair.
It's got to be tough in Hugh's backswing to be, only 17. You know what I mean?
Can you imagine though if we played on a golf course? Can you imagine?
Oh my God. Undefeated.
We move up to number 1 or 2.
Yeah, don't tease him. Don't tease him
Zach,
like that.
While we got you here, let me just ask you.
Do this. Are we doing this?
The big saving grace on Hugh the last few years has been while he's recruiting well. Well, so far, every time I open up the website, it's another decommitment from Auburn. So what's going on?
Wow, we're doing this right now. No, Shadarius Tootle flips from Auburn to Georgia, and then Devin Carter flips from Auburn to FSU. No, I think a lot of it has to do with internal alignment or lack thereof. I think some of that has to do with NIL and the new rulings. I think some of it has to do with coaching preferences as far as who they want, which up to this point it's made sense, but it's like you can't say you prefer other guys and not have those other guys commit to you. So it's not feeling great. We got a 3-star offensive lineman earlier this week though from New Zealand. So things are looking up.
Wow, a lack of alignment in
Auburn.
Auburn. Blow me over with a feather. I can't believe it.
Thomas Castellanos must have cut a hell of a promo to get that one guy to flip over. So that was good.
Imagine losing.
Yeah, it really fired Devin Carter up, I guess.
Yeah.
Who did you guys get the 3-star out of New Zealand over?
Auckland
FSU.
Madagascar.
Okay. Madagascar.
I was like some rugby team, the All Blacks or something. I don't know.
How do we get?
Can you just be honest, Zach? Do you miss Harson yet?
No.
Are you sure? Harson's
I'm
a big fan of our
positive
Rouge
on that.
yet. I know that. Harson's been taking
I mean,
Rouge since
you look at what Auburn's done. I get it. I totally get it. But I also think Auburn's roster this year is the best we've had in a long time. And if it doesn't work, we're going to know if the Hugh Freeze at Auburn tenure is going to work or not. We will know, I think, pretty quickly. I think
August 31st, you would know.
Yeah, we know it's not going to work. We already know.
Baylor.
By the
I
way,
don't know
we-
that, but
I know.
yeah, we'll know one way or the other this season
Certainly
for
won't
sure.
work in 15 minutes.
I really need Sawyer Robertson to come out and go, Auburn, they still play football?
They're in
It'd
every
be funny if like Walker White, who was a quarterback at Auburn last year, is like standing right next to him. I think that'd be funny.
And then you
You know,
just looks at this. Now watch this drive.
Yeah, before y'all get out, we get out of here. Did y'all see the video from the EA Sports game of Lane Kiffin? It looked like an Audi Lane Kiffin. It looked nothing like him. It's like Sean Payton's distant cousin was Lane Kiffin in that game.
That's probably the player model that they used. They probably said, "Hey, we got Sean Payton from Madden
Yeah,
09. Let's just go run it back now."
I do think it's weird. Like, not weird. I'm not. This isn't about you, Steven, but I saw all these people that were pissed about him and Dabo on Twitter today, and it was like they have created this game that has such realistic gameplay and these incredible stadiums, and the walkouts are correct, and the bands are playing songs, all these incredible details. And they're like, "What? Kiffin's face looks nothing like that. Come on."
Where are Sam Pittman's man titties? Come on.
And Kiffin's retweeting it. Kiffin was like pissed too. It was like, of course he did.
Oh, he would be.
Well, he doesn't care about serious things.
No, not at all.
No, not.
All
not
right,
even
well,
a little bit.
In closing, we've had some fun today. We've had some laughs. Thank you guys for joining us. Remember to follow and subscribe to your favorite SEC show. We'll be covering your favorite team all throughout the offseason, counting you down to the start of the season. I'll have you covered with the entire conference every day with Locked On SEC, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. But for Chris Marler, Zach Blackerby, Stephen Willis, John Miller, Jimmy Stein, Brandon Olsen, Corey Burton, I'm Chris Gordy. We'll talk to you next week right here on the SEC Squad.
Guys, couldn't help yourselves. Couldn't help yourselves.
You're lucky I didn't say
It's Rugiet.